It does not deal direct damage to, what do you call it, people? It does not deal direct damage.
Yeah.
To characters. What's the all living things that can be damaged word?
It does not deal living things to things that aren't anchored to the ground.
You might want to come up with a size for it too, because like if you had something a very horizontal, like it's flat building, you might be able to level a wing. But just being like, I do it to that building, and then you knock the whole thing down.
Like, probably the range would be like 100. It would probably be like 100-foot radius.
Well,
best.
I would say that the bigger the building was, the longer it would take to actually find the resonance. And so if you're trying to level something small, it might only persist for a turn or two. But if you're trying to bring down like an entire dungeon, it might last for 10 minutes or 20 minutes.
I don't know if you want to give him the ability to bring down a dungeon. I mean, unless it's going to be a focus skill where the guy has to constantly work on it, so the DM can just be like, okay, some goblins come out and kick you. Yeah, stop it.
Yeah, I actually do like it being a focus skill.
Yeah, so it's a concentration.
Requires hold on. Does not do direct damage, but may knock people off their feet. It requires continuous concentration, or else it subsides.
This cannot affect anything with a square footage larger than 20,000 feet.
Individual casting. Individuals casting this spell cannot level something with a square footage higher than 20,000.
Yeah.
You know what you ought to have too? Like a science invention that is like a re-resonator, and if anyone tries to earthquake your building, it figures out the resonance of your earthquake and then sends it right back up your ass.
Yeah.
So you get tricked.
Okay,
I'm smart.
So, second spell, which, do we want to call that,
Let's call it 82.5 until we can renumber everything.
Oh, yeah, 82.5, Canyon Maker.
No. I mean, actually, the whole fissure thing's already covered by Dig Hole.
Okay.
Dig a hole, dig a hole.
So, we don't need, well, we still need a second tier 3 earth spell then, is the issue. So
rock and roll, you play rock and roll.
Is there something where we could have, like, spikes come up and skewer people?
I thought we already had that.
Are they...
Shapestone.
Yeah. That would kind of fall into the usage of Shapestone.
Okay, well, what are some other things? If you could control...
Avalanche!
If you could control the ground, could you, like, drastically increase the... Oh, yeah, would an avalanche be a good one?
It's kind of actually very similar to meteorite.
Okay. Well,
which needs to be called meteorite and not meteo.
I know. When I was writing up these spell names, I wasn't expecting Joe to upload all of them simultaneously. And then I forgot about this for like a year.
Okay. Well, do we want...
after this was a working document.
Okay, well, we just got a whole bunch of spells that need,
Earthglide.
Ooh. Maybe.
Or a nerf version of it.
Oh, is that like a surf on the ground type thing?
Yeah, or surf through the ground. Pass through structure.
Yeah, like wall walking through stone walls.
Yeah.
Oh, this is gonna get infuriating.
Why?
I made this nice dungeon. Well, dungeon avoided.
I mean it's 7 MP per cast, and we can just limit it to you pass through one wall.
And you should also like know in advance that your party can do that and put things that are not just stone in the walls. Like if the walls had rebar in them.
They can't go through iron.
Yeah,
or wood.
Yeah, so if it's like okay, so it's like okay, now there's just rebar in front of us. Okay, so now one of us cuts through the rebar. This is exceedingly loud and bright.
Yeah, no one can cut rebar.
No, well, my point is that it would attract a lot of attention.
I could.
Well, yeah, but you're attention grabbing anyway.
I grab your mom's attention.
Okay, so let's see what we got here. So, spells that need more words. Boost accounting, animate object. Do we want to do animate object real quick? Because that's a fun one. It's got the 3 laws safe thing.
It's Mathemagic, Joe.
Okay.
I'm an object.
Yeah.
Have you watched Beauty and the Beast?
These actually, okay, this actually, 3 laws, or sorry.
Oh, no, he was saying these are the ones that need fluff.
Oh, they need the,
flavor text.
Flavor text. Okay, so flavor text for boost accounting, since that's first.
Also, Mathemagic shouldn't be the first school listed.
Well,
you don't put the weirdest thing first. You put, like, air and shit.
Okay, so side note, alphabetized list, so air is first.
Well, like, air, fire, rock, water should all kind of be near each other. But after that, you know, the I'd do that, then bodies, mind, soul, math.
Okay, well, it's in terms of things that are convenient to do with the computer.
I'm just saying.
Alphabetizing list puts Mathemagic toward the bottom, and then we get air,
it towards
body.
the middle, it's an M.
Yeah, but look at the actual distribution. Yeah, okay.
It is dead in the middle. Oh
okay,
my God.
It's fine in the middle.
I'm always right.
Okay. So okay. So boost accounting. Want to get home to your family on Christmas Eve? We don't have Christmas. Okay.
Present day.
Famous accountants that are not Cratchit. The producers. Nobody. No. Okay.
Okay, Joe, you just
Andy
asked
Dufresne.
for a list of famous.
What? Andy Dufresne's a famous accountant.
Weird.
I did love that movie, by the way.
It's a good movie.
I saw it like 6 times in Korea because for some reason South Koreans have a Morgan Freeman fetish.
Hot. Okay. Okay.
Aldemir, thank you for alphabetizing the list for us.
Yeah.
Do like the feds are at the door and I need to cook the books and like this takes them to go from 1 to 12.
Yes. This is a mob spell.
I like it.
Yes. Okay. When the feds are.
Sorry, Art.
Yeah, Brian, how much are we paying you?
Negotiable.
Yeah. But.
All right. Well, let's consider minimum possible value up it by 200%.
Cast boost accounting.
Okay. When the feds are at the door, and you need to cook some books fast. Having.
Doesn't everyone have a Morgan Freeman fetish?
Having. Okay. Wait.
His voice, it's just so soothing.
When the feds are at the door and you need to cook the books fast, sometimes magic is the only way. And you need. When the feds are at the door and you need to cook the books fast, magic can be your best friend. And not just in terms of door reinforcement. Okay, so 26 was the animate object. Have you ever wanted to turn a marionette puppet into your son, but wanted to be sure that it wouldn't allow people to die through inaction?
Everybody to the other side of the room.
Yeah, why not? Okay. Good job, Carlos Collati.
Won't this 4 squared spell kill everything?
No, because you're not guaranteed to get the 16.
Also because it only affects the spells cast by the Mathemagician. And since he's a Mathemagic specialist, that means he's basically not very good at most other spells.
Well, I mean, he could get a 3rd tier fire or something.
No, he wouldn't have enough MP.
Yeah, this will burn you out pretty hard.
Remember, 4th tier spells cost 27 out of what is generally going to be about 33 MP.
So the idea is, yeah, you'd be able to cast that and a like tier 1 or 2 spell, but the idea is though that's kind of funnier because a lot of the tier 1 or 2 spells aren't very powerful, but like if you multiplied them by 16, they'd be hilarious. Whereas a lot of the tier 3 spells are more catastrophic damage things. The tier 1 and 2 spells are more creative stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever wanted a son so badly that you attempted to animate a marionette?
I would say that it'd be. Have you ever wanted a son so badly that you carved your own puppet and started talking to him?
Carved
In which case you're probably part of the Disney crew.
and started talking to it?
Oh yeah.
Or what about having a mansion full of kettles and plates that sing?
It will subtly undermine all of your efforts to live your life by your own terms.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Would you like
Now you can.
Tell you when the cookies are done.
thanks to the Mathemagic spell, Animate Object.
I would say no. Now you can, and the best part is they won't try to take a butcher knife to you in your sleep.
Now you can. And thanks to the fact that they're 3 laws safe, you don't have to worry about that butcher knife loving you so much it tries to find its way into your heart.
There we go.
Probably enough time for one more spell before you guys have to switch to the monster lab.
True.
Okay, so sorry, jumping back to the chat here. Okay, do we want to do imbue weapon?
It's just fluff.
Okay, so what's the fluff lacking, or what does imbue weapon actually do?
Imbue weapon is the infuse a spell into an item, not the permanently infuse a spell into the item. It should be. Okay, so it's that's alter spell right there.
So okay, imbue enchantment.
Wait, are we?
Okay, enchant item.
Was it number 31? I thought it was higher. Yeah, no, there's a weaker version further up. Enchant item is the permanent version. Imbue weapon is the less permanent, but still kind of dickish weapon.
Targeted weapon unleashes spell effect for either duration or one shot, possibly dependent on investing mana in weapon. When you say investing mana in weapon, does that mean like you essentially have 15 of your mana tied up in the weapon that
that it uses to cast the spell?
And so you can never, your cap is essentially lowered by 15
until the weapon either is disenchanted or the spell points are depleted.
So you really want to pay an NPC to do this?
Yeah, it's the sort of thing you'd either pay an NPC to do, or it's something that like you'd get the party mage to do, and then have the scientist hand him a rocket launcher.
Gotcha.
Like, Mathemagic is basically sort of the very heavy support school. Like, if you're playing in a party where there's a Mathemagician present, he's not using his magic to blow things up. No. He's using his magic basically to pimp you guys out.
Now, if you imbue a weapon with Foursquare, for example, and then stab your fire mage, could you do some pretty awesome volcano stuff? And also, don't you also get to stab your fire mage? Is this awesome? I like it. Does it allow you to essentially pass normally self-targeted spells onto the person you inflict?
No, because the way that it works, it's a spell that has to target something else.
Ah, gotcha.
Like, literally what it is the spell is... It's basically using the weapon as a means of transmitting a spell.
Okay, so target is the weapon. Got it.
Yeah.
Now, can you do this on, like, a quiver of arrows, or does it like one arrow? So you've got the one arrow in your quiver that's going to be the flame arrow, and the rest.
Like it's one of those things where honestly, this is probably one of the most complex effects in the entire game.
Okay.
I'm planning to kind of make that one of those. I'm going to have to write a guidelines for the PM eventually.
Okay. So
because it's just like there's a lot of nitty-gritty things, and there's no hard and fast rules is part of it. Like, I don't want there to be hard and fast rules for enchanting, because I kind of want it to be one of those things where it's just like, I want to encourage people to do crazy things. Like, say, enchant a quiver of arrows to all scream, you know, at the top of their lungs as they fly toward you.
Okay. So, let's say, what are some practical uses for imbue weapon? I guess.
Well, like, it's also imbuing item.
Yeah. So like, let's say you need a hot knife to cut some butter.
Yeah, like you would use it to say, like lighters. Lighters are a very common thing that you theoretically would use imbuing for.
Yeah.
But let's see here. Extend breath would probably be something that you would often use imbuing for. Like basically be the equivalent of a scuba tank.
You can use this to make magical equivalents of all sorts of things. Scuba tanks, lighters. propane grills.